Welcome, folks, to IAS land, an island in Second Life, a secure one, I must mention, where the Division of Information and Intelligence Systems, IIS, has held a couple of dozen of its scientific review panels, as well as other meetings. Now, not all of these relate to games, of course. The program within the IIS division that I belong to is Cyberhuman Systems, and it has reviewed and supported research directly related to games on a very large number of occasions. It's, a little darker green so that it matches the two other major programs within our division. Over on the upper right here, Robust Intelligence is the AI program. It seldom supports things directly related to games, but all advances in artificial intelligence may be applied to games in the future. The Information Integration and Informatics program is about databases, and we've highlighted in gray some topic areas, and in yellow, two of the overarching programs that might also support game research. Research for the future, which could be the short-term future, but understanding today's games better, or the longer-term future, the game platforms that in a few years will be very significant. Oh, you might click on this column of ones and zeros. Do it a couple times because that will put in your text chat at random some of the game or virtual world related grants that we've already funded. You can go to the online abstract system to search awards on the NSF website, but you would search not just for game, but avatar, virtual world, graphics, other things. This poster happens to thank four of the online MMO or virtual worlds that have actually been quite hospitable to our researchers, sharing data appropriately, anonymized, and helping them do studies such as questionnaires. But often corporations, large and small, feature in some way in grants from the computer science part of NSF. So I was just saying that human subjects and ethical considerations are very much part of the review process. In this very large room, we've held major meetings, but also panels of the National Robotics Initiative. My level 90 droid engineer in that picture. These three posters are simply left up from the multi-agency panels of the National Robotics Initiative that were held here. Aside from telling you what we do, if we really start having robots at home, whether they look like that fellow or not, don't they become one of the game platforms of the future, whether they're physical games or not? Research and meetings in virtual worlds. Picture to the left is one of the big sessions of a conference we held inside World of Warcraft, more than 100 avatars present, and it gave a book of proceedings, 3 major sessions. But that's not new. That was May 2008. Rather more recently, this is a picture of a distribution of questionnaires inside A Tale in the Desert, one of the smaller but still remarkably good games. Picture of a game researcher, Walt Skokie at the University of California, Irvine, next to a workshop report that he edited. The next several pictures can go somewhat quickly, but will show the range of perspectives we have. This particular text from the beginning of one of our abstracts, I do see a familiar name up there someplace, developing improved methods of going beyond the distinction between sandbox and theme park, getting off rails and allowing a game to be both functional and fun, but never the same twice, and indeed responding to a user's decisions in ever more sophisticated ways. Some games are part of citizen science, such as the folded game we funded that uses people's play to work out the structure of proteins. We've funded researchers such as Greg Lasopka and others to look at the legal and social context. A tremendous amount of research on avatars, graphics, other things that may or may not involve a particular game, but will lead to the games of the future. This poster on a visually compelling avatar is simply stages in the process of rendering one of my colleagues in an office down the hall into an avatar, not actually for a game, but to serve as the personalized interface to a database system where you would ask it questions and he would answer them. And indeed, the real Alex does know all the answers. A lot of our research now is about mobile computing. And of course, that's not just one person wandering around and connecting with internet, people connecting with each other, with data sources in the immediate environment. The next picture simply shows, well, we've had a whole series of conferences building out of the National Nanotechnology Initiative on how that field may in time, or is already, merging with other fields, biotechnology, information technology, but all of them combining into a generalized science and technology that becomes thoroughly embedded within society. Well, we did fund the research behind the Google solution, and we put research in the past and even now into self-driving cars, which is driving itself in this picture. Wait a minute. If in 10 years most of the cars on the highway drive themselves, what do the passengers do? Is it possible that the big gaming platform, some of the games related to the surrounding environment, others not, will be automobiles? Of course, many games already, like this somewhat obscure but rather well done one in terms of its maps, relate to maps of the real world anyway. So they really are ready to merge fairly quickly. And the frontiers of cyber-physical systems, well, that's an area of NSF that may not seem at all game-related. It's about transportation systems, it's sensors in bridges, in all kinds of utilities and so on. But if the whole city is wired, can't parts of it, not that you would interfere with them, but as sources of information, be components in games? Oh, wait a second. That means live action role playing. Now, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but if you don't know who she is, you're really out of it. And if you don't know her gesture, well, it may be hopeless, but we could try. I don't know, but live-action role-playing games have had trouble getting started, but it may be because their economic model would be utterly different from the contemporary game industry. It may be that local information experts, historians, etc., would use one or another thing that was like a web browser to create their local history-related live-action role-playing games. Only one possibility. But this is to suggest that, seriously, fantasy may be a simulation, a prototype of reality. It may be a training ground for morality and social relations, or a source of inspiration for alternatives. But fantasy and reality are merging. Information technologies playing the central role in that. And so games may merge, and the world will become the greater platform.